There we go. I thought I'd be all fancy with a lapel mic and everything, and it was working. It was. I promise it was working. Right up until just about then, and then it wasn't. Aha! 'Tis because I hadn't turned it on. Now it's on, you see, and now you can hear me. There we go. Let me just clip that in there. Let's try and be all professional. Let's try and be the pro in Synth Network, which, of course, I've always maintained never actually stands for professional. There we go. Welcome. This is an odd one. Do I sound a bit phasey there? That's a bit odd. Anyway, let's see how we get on. Thank you ever so much for joining. This is a very impromptu session. I wanted to do it as soon as I could because, excuse me, as my studio falls apart here. Hours of preparation. Yeah, so I wanted to do this as soon as I possibly could because, time is of the essence, and I've been waiting for this for a while. I first played a Moog Messenger at Superbooth on the first day of Superbooth, and it was actually the first interview we did at Superbooth. So it was. No, I've killed the mic on the stand. This is what I don't know where that's coming from. Very odd. Maybe I'll just switch to this one. It does sound a little bit phasey, doesn't it? That's strange. There you go. That's better. I should have really properly tested all this. But anyway, moving on. So I've played the first day. It was the first interview we did. If you want to go and see that interview, it's over on the channel. And we did an interview with the legendary Eric Norlander, who gave us a lovely demonstration. And Eric said to me, there and then, he said, "Yeah, we're going to get you one of these," and it's taken this long. So it's it's a month and a half, 6 weeks for it to get here. They're very popular, I understand, and I do believe that paying customers should come first. You guys have, I don't know, has anybody got hands up if you've got a Moog Messenger, because this could be interesting. You could help me out. So just like I've done before with famously the Synclavia Regen, I haven't. It's there. Look, see, the Messenger is there, it's still sealed in its box. I have not opened it. However, what is different between this and the classic Synclavia Regen video is that A, I've already played a Moog Messenger, and B, it's a traditional analog synthesizer. So really, if I can't find my way around this, what am I doing here? So anyway, let me just take a sip. It's a very warm day, and I'm going to have to apologise if there's any sort of background noise of a fan, of vehicles driving past. That's because the windows are open and I've got the fan on, because it's still very warm where we are. Now, I do have a second camera, which I'm just going to bring in here, which is going to illuminate the side of my face at the moment. But the idea is that we will switch. Let me just take that off there. We will switch to this view here, and then you can see me and what I'm doing as well as everything else. So this is probably a view you don't normally see. This is what I see whenever I'm doing. Actually, this is what I see for the large part of every day, because this is not only where I do the shows from, but it's also where I do my day job from. Anyway, so we'll unbox it. We'll put it here. We'll set it up. There is a firmware update to do, so I'm gonna make sure that I do the firmware update before we do anything else, because that wouldn't be fair if I didn't do that. And we'll go from there. Now, during the show, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Make sure you put at least one capital Q. Put some notification in there so I can stick those into the question bowl, and we'll address those as we come to them. If you are joining this stream or this channel for the very first time, can I say welcome? Your presence is greatly appreciated. And whilst you're here, can you do that? Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Somebody's been messing around with my settings, and I'm not happy. Anyway, yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, and share would be lovely if you could do that. So thank you very much if you have already, and thank you to everyone that does subsequently. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share. You'll get notifications. Now, maybe if you're watching this video on catch up, you didn't have that bell clicked. So click that bell, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and then you get automatically notified of this stuff when Muggins here decides to do an impromptu live stream. So there you go. This is one of the reasons why we ask you to do it. No other real reason for it. So yeah, we're going to go through the messenger. I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe an hour and a half. It might go over. I don't know if I'm having too much fun. But we're going to unbox it. We're going to check out what's in the box. We are going to update it. And then we're going to play it. And we're going to go through all the features and listen to what it sounds like. I've even got, I don't know if you can see, it's just in the other camera there. So I bought one of these the other day. This is a Zoom Multi-Stomp MS70 CDR Plus big effects unit, lovely effects unit. It's got loads of stuff in there, a real workhorse. Now the messenger doesn't have any effects in there, so I thought, well, let's get that involved and let's have a listen to some of the sounds through an effects unit. That would be nice. So anyway, thank you very much again for joining. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, please do. Who's been messing with my damn settings? I am livid. Everything there should be in red, but it's in grey. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You can read it. Support us on Patreon, please, if you can. We're throwing loads of free stuff up on there at the moment. And thank you to people like Jer, who's in the chat, from Custom Sonics, who's just recently given us a brand new decent sampler instrument, just all kick drums, just fantastic. It's really cool. Nice little interface as well. We've got lots of other things in there as well. Free sounds, free patches. We've got video content that has been snipped and is ad-free. We've got exclusive sounds for the Cherry Audio ODC 2800 and so on and so forth. All you got to do to get access to all of that content is just subscribe to the Patreon for a minimum of $2 a month. You can turn it on and off as much as you like. That all works very nicely, and yeah, it's all good. So yeah, thanks for joining, and support the channel where you can. Of course, don't forget you can also buy merchandise at that very link there. All the links should be in the description below. If they're not, I'll slap myself around the face and put them in later. But yeah, we've got loads of merchandise where you can buy lovely things such as these 32-ounce water bottles, which are fantastic. I've fallen in love with this. I take it everywhere I go. You hear that ice that's in there? This stays cold. I make this up before I go to bed. You know, neighbours. I make this up before I go to bed, and it's still icy cold in the morning. It's lovely. And it's got a straw built in, so there's no spillage or anything like that. We also sell wonderful things like ProSynth Network coasters to put your water bottles on. We sell t-shirts and jumpers and sweatshirts and all sorts of gubbins. So yeah, there you go. That's how you can support the channel. Of course, just being here gives us a lot of support as well. Right, hello to everyone that's in the chat. Hi to all the channel members. You can tell the channel members because they've got that little icon next to their name. If you want to be a YouTube channel member, you get all the same benefits as a Patreon member. So it just helps us keep us on the air. That's all. So if you are joining us for the very first time, because maybe you saw me post a link in one of our social media channels or into the in one of the Moog Facebook groups, then welcome, and stick around, check us out. We're here every Friday from 7 p.m. UK time for 2 hours. We have loads of guests. For the Moog fans, we always have Michelle come on every now and again, Michelle Mokusa, to talk about BMF and everything that she does. So yeah, it's a good place to hang out and stick around. So without further ado, shall we get to it? Right, I'm going to move my keyboard. I'm just going to stick it over there very gently on the Polybrute 12. and then I need to just move. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my trackpad. I'll just leave it there for now. Right, let's go and get the Moog. This arrived this morning, and it almost didn't get here, by the way, because it got delivered 3 doors down, because people can't distinguish between a 5 and an 8. But anyway, luckily the person at the other house refused it, and the driver, to his credit, opened up the invoice that was stuck in a little envelope and found the correct address, and so it arrived first thing this morning. And here it is. It's not that heavy. I think packaging included, we're talking about 7 kilos. I think the instrument itself is about 5. So it's a very light instrument. You're going to have to excuse, I'm going to cut off my head here, but let's just very gently open this. Oh, honestly, mobile phone. Right. Let's move the mic out of the way. Right, there we go. Oh my word. Okay. It's going to be like that, is it? So there's a box within a box. So I'm just going to tip this, slide it. Okay. That's the outer. So, there we go. Right. Oh. And here's the next box. There's a box within a box. There we go. Right. Just with my trackpad. Okay. So hopefully this camera here will be able to give you a look inside. There's lovely. Welcome to the Moog music family, it says. Your new analog synthesizer was lovingly designed to bring you joy in a lifetime of creative exploration. Blah, 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 blah. Nice little graphic design there. Okay, so we've got the instrument in 2 foam inserts. Just gently extract it from there. There goes my mobile phone. Okay. Once you've got the thing out of the box, it's not too difficult. Right. Make sure my mobile phone is all okay. Good. Right. So, one thing that was hidden in the insert, don't throw it away. Power supply. And that is what you get now. Just very gently, because this has to go back. So I'm going to make sure that I unpack it in such a way as that I can repack it the way it came. So that's the instruction manual just there. And somehow I've lost all your comments. There we go. Right. There goes Neil. Don't worry, we'll get Chris down later as well. And there we go. There is the Moog Messenger. So hopefully there she be in all her glory. Make that full screen, shall we? There we go. So let's get Neil and Chris in on the action. You know, all these YouTubers got to have their little things in there. So this is it. Here it is, the Moog Messenger. Let me just remove safety foam under the keyboard. There's no plastic to remove from screens because it doesn't have a screen, so that's good. This is where we find that they gave us a US or a European plug. Actually, this came from the UK, so it should have, at least, at the very least, it does. Oh, phew, always a good sign. So it actually comes with, in this case, European 2-pin and a trusty, very safe British 3-pin. So these, that's one of the twist-on varieties. So it goes in like so. Let's click in. You can always take it out if you decide to move from the UK or wherever it is that you are moving from and to. Just keep the cable ties. They're always, I'm terrible like that. I keep everything. So it's just a little external PSU which I can plug in just over here. So it says, slippery slidey. There we go. Right. Let's have a look at the back before we hide it away. So let's just hold this up. So let's just go through the connections here. So you've got audio out, and it's a monophonic synthesizer, so it's a monophonic output. Then we've got a headphone socket. We've got external audio in, because I believe this can process external audio through the filter. You've got sustain and expression pedal sockets just there. For all you Eurorack nerds, you've got CV and gate in and out, and you've also got a clock in and clock out, so they're all 3.5mm jacks there. There's a little red LED. I don't know whether that's just to say that whether there's a signal going through or not. Regular MIDI in, MIDI out, USB-C, data cable, and a power socket, 12-volt center pin positive, and that is it. That's the that's all the connectivity on the base of the unit. It is a solid. Apparently, I'm told this is glass reinforced ABS, so it's solid. But the top plate is metal. So this is all metal. It's a metal plate. I guess it's some sort of aluminium. You've got the traditional nice little white Moog pitch bend and mod wheels, and then we'll go through the stuff there shortly. Right, so there's me thinking that this synth would probably just have a USB B connector on the back. It's actually USB-C, which I think is great because we just need to standardize everything on that. So we shall just turn the synthesizer on. First of all, let's also connect some audio. You might get a little bit of so just plug your ears. There we go. And then everyone, let's turn the baby on. We have lights, which is always good. Let's just bring this round here and get that out of the way. Right. She be. Bring my fat backside in here and we can start playing around. Okay, so the output is down. That's good. You don't want to kill anybody just yet. I have got it plugged into my effects unit. Sorry, Neil, you need to be a bit more prominent, mate. There you go. No, I'll take Neil and Chris off there. There we go. There's a nice little Pet Shop Boys stage. Right. There we go. Let's bring the microphone down. Right. Okay. So before we do anything, I did say we were going to do a firmware update, but I just want to hear this thing, so I just want to make sure that everything's working. Yeah, I think that's. Oh, straight out of the box, that first bass sound. Keyboard's got aftertouch, as you can tell. Let's hear that filter. That's with the bass resonance, or the resonant bass switch on. off, on. And one thing I love to do with every synth, first thing I don't know why, I just want to hear that filter self resonate. Oh, that is nice. That's the 2-pole low pass. That's the 4-pole. That's the band. And that's the high. But we'll get into messing around with that sort of thing a little bit later. Let's bring the... First things first, that keyboard actually, I remember this when I played it at Superbooth. The keyboard is a lovely keyboard. I think it is a Fatar. Right, I think the first thing we've got to do is we have got to update the firmware. So let's just find a USB cable, USB-C to C, which I very carefully threw into my bag because I thought, no, we won't have a USB-C on the back. They never have USB-C on the back, but it has a USB-C on the back. And one of the reasons we started the show about 30 seconds later than normal was because I was hunting for a USB-C cable. Anyway, there we go, USB-C into the Mac Studio, and then USB-C into the rear of the doodah. So let's make sure we get this angle. You don't want to see me, you don't want to see my gut, do you? There we go. Right, Neil. He's such an attention seeker. Right, so yes, thank you, Kent, for your enthusiastic comment there. So let's see if I can just do this from here. So let me just stop that, and we're going to share a screen, and we're going to share this. Let me add this to the stage. Okay, so this is the updater. So it's asking me, do I want to open that? And yes, I do. Now I've got a window here that says click the update firmware button to start the update process. Update to firmware 107. Current firmware is 104. So we're going to hit the update firmware button as instructed. And now we just, I guess, we sit and wait. Shall I bring that? I'll bring that window up on screen actually, because then... Oh, the update has failed because the device cannot be accessed. Unplug, replug, and try again. And we are definitely plugged in at the rear. Okay. Let's do this. Present. Share screen. Window. Oh, won't let me share that one. Okay, fair enough. You'll have to take my word for it. That, oh yes, there we go. It's doing. So there must have been. I mustn't have clicked it all the way in, as the actress said to the bishop. So you can't see this, but there's a little orange bar that's going through. It says about 10 seconds to go, so it's a very quick process. There's nothing, of course, on the screen on the synth itself to indicate that this process is running. You've just heard the click there where it's power cycled. It was just as quick as that. That was really very quick and very painless. Rebooted itself, and the software is now telling me that I am running the very latest of firmware, and that's it. We are done. Let's just make sure it's still working. Bonus. So there we go. We have just updated. We've just updated the messenger to 107. Nick makes a very salient point. If it couldn't be accessed, how did it know it was at 104? That's a very good point. Very good point. But anyway, it must have been just needed unplugging and plugging in again. So there you go. That was a very, very simple, straightforward update process. And we now have a bang up to date Moog messenger ready to be looked through and enjoyed. I would love to have done a top down camera here, but I'm hoping that this is good enough. If not, just pick up a picture of the Moog messenger. I will make this full screen. Pick up a picture of the Moog messenger and follow along. It's a bit like the old fashioned football commentating when they used to do it by grid system. Look it up. It's amazing. Okay, here we go. So let's have a look at where everything is first and how it's all laid out. So first thing here on the left hand side is your LFO1. So you have LFO1 rate and LFO1 depth. The rate function to the right of that you can select from a triangle, sawtooth, you know, the two different types of sawtooth, one that goes down, the ramp and slope, that's it, and then square wave for your wave shapes. And then the depth control can be routed to the cutoff, the oscillator 2 frequency, oscillator 1 wave shape, and the sub wave. So you can just route that just there. There's a sync button, so I guess that synchronizes with your MIDI or clock synchronization there. And then there's a keyboard reset button just there as well. Tempo is just here. Sorry, I realized that, you know, because I'm to the camera there. So there's your tempo knob just there. And then you have a selector between the sequencer and the ARP. So this enables you to record and play. Here you've got the keyboard octave, so just tell me if that's too hot. So 1 octave, 2 octave, 3 octave, 4 octave, 4 octaves it goes through. I guess you probably don't need, that's quite high. And then you've got a hold button, which also allows you to input ties into the sequences. You've got a glide function here. You've got LFO2 rate, which is linked to your mod wheel, which then can go to the cutoff or the pitch or the amp envelope. So you've got to choose there. So that's nice, neat. All the performance stuff is kind of over here, so that's nice. Let's move over to the main interface here. So we have our oscillators 1 and 2. We have on oscillator 1 we have a tune function, we have a subwave function, we have the wave shape, which is a variable wave shape on both of those. Oscillator 2 frequency is down here and mod amount is here, and the modulation amount can be again routed through a little click through. You can see there that the LED is moving. So the destinations is you've got 1 to 2 frequency modulation. You've got the filter envelope to the oscillator 2 frequency, filter envelope to the oscillator 2 wave, and filter envelope to the subwave. And there is a sync, so you can get oscillator sync, which is right there. So let's just have a listen to the waves. So we just take oscillator 2 down and bring, so this is oscillator 1 on its own. So it starts off sawtooth to triangle, then to square, and then pulse or pulse width modulation there. If we listen to oscillator 2, ooh. Why is that doing? So that's a lot harsher, that one, isn't it? That's why, because it was doing filter modulation. Yeah, so nice sounding oscillators. That's because the LFO. Okay, so that's your oscillator section. Then we've got the mixer section. So this is typical Moog classic layout. So we have the oscillator 1, oscillator 2, we have the sub oscillator. And there's a sub wave just here as well. And let's just turn these down. Noise generator. It's quite snappy. Like that. This is just a sub on its own. If I just drop that down to its lowest. Ooh. I expected it to be. Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh yeah, that's more like it. So there you go, that's your sub oscillator. So you've got two oscillators for the sub oscillator, which is off of oscillator 1, and then you've got the noise. Then, of course, we have the filter section dead center in a very traditional layout, as they seem to be these days. So this is the external in control. We don't have anything going in there at the moment. I don't know if I'll have time to do that today. So I think you can actually... what are we routing? I have to get the manual out, but that's routing in something... It's definitely routing in something that's not external, so I need to look into that. Oscillator 2 into cutoff. So you can use oscillator 2 to modulate the cutoff. You've got the envelope generator amount, and you've got the resonance, and then you've got keyboard tracking, and then you've got your 4 filter types that you can choose from. 4-pole low pass, 2-pole low pass, band pass, and high pass. And then this button that a lot of people seem to be getting hung up on, the resonance bass button. So a lot of people are kind of debating as to what exactly it is. Is it a miracle, or is it just a gimmick? At the end of the day, when you turn the resonance up, normally you would lose those bass frequencies. Turn it off, you can hear the bass has just dropped out until you start dialing the resonance back down. But with the resonance bass on, keeps it there, which is very, very nice. Very useful. So I don't care how they did it, and it sounds great. We've got 2 traditional ADSR envelopes, one for the filter and one for the amplifier, and there's a range of buttons here. So velocity, loops, you've got looping envelopes on this. So the filter envelope velocity, so that's obviously that, but so you can assign the envelope to the velocity, or the filter envelope to the velocity, filter envelope to looping it, then the amplitude envelope to velocity, and again looping of that as well. This is the button I should have pressed earlier on, and I was looking for it whilst I was talking, couldn't see it, but you hold the panel button down. Now the panel button will switch between the preset that you've chosen and the settings that are in the panel, so you can go from this to that and then back again, because I've got everything dialed down here. So let me just dial those back up. Let's get a some sort of sound going here. Where am I? See, I've got everything dialed right down. So I need to. We'll move on for that. But press it again. I'm back to my preset. Okay. If you hold it, you'll init the patch. Init. So I'll do that. So we're now an init patch. And we'll have a go at making a few sounds. In just a moment, but we'll go back to the presets because people spent a lot of time making these. Anyway, just to finish off on the front panel. So underneath all of the knobbage right there, we've got some. All of this is basically two functions. It's the sequencer or arpeggiator, and then there are, as you see above the buttons, you can mess around with things like gate probability, length and swing. This is all to do with the arpeggiator and the sequencer. You've got velocity settings, aftertouch settings, expression, MIDI channel, and then there's some setting buttons over here. I'm going to need to read the manual, which I've got up here, so we can look into that. We're not going to get deep into this. We just really, at this stage, we want to see this. What's going to happen between now and I've got this for about 2 months, roughly. But I've thought about making them an offer for it if I really like it. But we've definitely got this for about 60 days. So after this video, I'm going to spend some time with it. And then we're going to get to learn to use it properly. Might do some patches for it. Might do some samples for a decent sampler instrument. But right now, going to warn everyone, this is me, first time with this synthesizer. So there's going to be moments when you go, oh, where's this? So I will refer to the manual. Of course, if we have any Messenger users in the chat, then you can help me out. Why don't you? That'd be nice. Anyway, what do we think so far? It's a nice layout. I like the fact that there is no screen. There's no screen. You don't need it. So everything you need to look at is just where the little white marks are, and just go from there. It's properly hands-on. And it sounds like a Moog. It's how I would imagine a Moog sounding like. I mean, I've heard lots of Moogs, but I've never had one here plugged directly into my system, and it just sounds Moogy. So it's lovely. Also, these buttons across the top here, 1 to 16, also double up as patch buttons and bank selector buttons. So I'm told there are 16 banks of 16 sounds per bank. The first bank is like best of, so we'll flick through those. That's kind of like patches that will set the, give you or demonstrate the instrument in all of its glory. Then you go through banks 2 to 16 are kind of categorized, so there'll be one bank that's basses, one bank that's leads, one bank for arps, and so on and so forth. Again, I'll need to refer to the manual for that, which I have just here on my screen. Of course, there is some documentation included. For example, let's have a look at that. We haven't had a look at the documentation that's included there. I am bearing in mind also that being this is an analog synth, it might need a little time to warm up. What have we got here? So this is exactly what I was just saying. These are the preset bank categories. So bank 1 is Messenger, collection of top presets. Then we've got, in order, classic bass, modern bass, sub bass, hard lead, soft lead, arps, orchestral, keys, pads, mallets and metal, sweeps, drones, percussion, effects, and then bank 16 is where you can store your patches. Nice. I would have rather that was a small. Does it need to be this big? I don't know. Just a little small thing would have, because I mean there's plenty of other small things. There's the little quick start guide in this kind of funky Moog design, as they are wont to do. What else have we got here? Important safety instructions. There's a sticker. I don't know if I can keep the sticker. And then there's a lovely poster. I'm not going to get this all on camera, am I? So what have we got here? Let me switch to my other camera. He says, there we go. Right, so on the one side, oh, that's cute. I like that. I have that on my wall. It's Bob. Is that Bob? Is that Bob? Or someone? Or maybe it's not Bob. It's just someone playing music and all the wonderful things that come out of it. And then a manifesto devoted to the development and manufacture of electronic instruments for the musician. Amen to that. So, nice little poster. Yay. Yay for posters. So, that's all you get. You don't get a printed manual. It's always disappointing when you don't get a printed manual, but I guess at the end of the day, very few companies do that now. And it's probably good for the environment. And we have a PDF. So there we go. I'm going to take that. This is absolutely pointless having this on. I need to test this. It was a kind of a last minute thing. I kind of go, oh, I've got a lavalier mic that might be better if I'm moving around. But I've done all the moving around. And for some reason, it did sound like it was doubling up. So I need to look into that. Anyway. Right. Shall we? Let's have a listen, shall we? Let's take me off screen. You don't want to be seeing me. And then let's bring this there. That'll do. See, Neil's gone to sleep again. Wakey, wakey, Neil. Neil Tennant, everyone. Or as my friend calls him, Neil Talent, which I think is quite horrible and offensive. Also, Chris Lowe. On guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pet Shop Boys. Can you tell I'm a fan? Right, okay. So we're going to go to bank 1, patch 1. We've already heard this a number of times. It's just a great Moog bass. Glide in there. Anyway, so there's patch 1. Patch 2. Ooh, nice kind of throaty formity. Be nice, has your head. Right. Excuse me. Again, another bass. Okay. Everything's got aftertouch on it. Oh. Nice. Brassy. channels. Does it need master tuning for setup? Good question. We'll check. Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay. That should have been in position 1. That is nice. Like that. That's a sound you could only maybe use once or twice. A drum type sound. Every analog synthesizer needs a whoosh. A nice bouncing ball. Somebody mentioned the effects. Where was that sound? There. Somebody mentioned the effects. Let's bring in some effects, shall we? So this is, sorry Neil, sorry Chris, just so you can see, just in the corner of the shot there, this is a Zoom MS-70 CDR, which I just got the other day, and I'm finding it incredibly good. So that's with the effects. Without. How about that then, guys and girls? Let's stick it through some silky tape echo. Very nice. Shimmer reverb. We all like a shimmer. So all of a sudden, that very dull, interesting, but stick that through that. Nice. Okay, well, we'll keep the effects off, but we know now that the one thing that maybe is missing on this thing is some effects. It would have been nice just to have. Now, I get it, I really do, that they're trying to hit a price point. And it's a good price point. What's this? $699 or less in the UK? It's a really good price point. However, how much does it cost to just to put a little digital effects? I know it's going to ruin the whole analog audio chain, but who cares? If the audio chain is analog all the way through up to the effects section, then where's the harm? And I know you can go out and buy an effects unit. I mean, you can get a little Korg NTS1 if you wanted to. And that'll do. Or you can, spend a little bit more money and get this. I mean, this was only, 118 quid, I think. It was very affordable. So I think we've determined there that effects really do make a difference. So I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to answer, or try to answer some of the questions that have come in. So Half God says, what oscillator cross mod options does it have? There's no ring mod. There is oscillator sync. You can sync 1 to 2. You can also do 1 to 2 filter frequency modulation. So you can do that. That's pretty much it as far as I understand it. Let's just see if I've missed any. You have to forgive me if I miss some of your questions. So if I do miss it, and it's been a while, do post it again. What's this one here? Can we hear the lead to cake going the distance? Not sure what that means. Excuse me. Getting very dry in here. What with the fans and everything. Let's see if we've got any more questions in here. How many user slots are there for presets, please? Says Jimmy Dyson. 16. 16 slots in bank 16. I'm assuming you can overwrite the factory ones. I don't know. That's something I'll have to look into. But there is bank 16 from the factory is for user. So I've noticed this. I'm just going to pick on. I'm not picking on SJ for any other reason. That he's the one that was under my thumb. But no, there is no screen, and so you don't know where the presets are if you haven't got a screen. But you do, because you've got these buttons here. So if you press the bank button, just press it once, it tells you which bank you're in. So we're in bank 1. So if I want to go to bank 8, I just hold bank and then select bank 8. It'll flash at me. If I press the bank button again, it shows me I'm bank 8, and then I can just go to and you can see which patch you've got because the buttons are lit. Yeah, a screen would have been nice, but again, building to a price point, I suppose. There you go. I think that's most of the questions. I think can we hear the arpeggiator bank? Yep, absolutely. I'll get to that in just a minute. Mr. Smith over there in Australia. Nice to talk to you this morning. Do the presets come with their own sequencer presets to demo them? I don't think so, but that's one I can have a look at. Sonic Link says, Grandma has 4 oscillators. Can the LFOs be used as so with the Messenger? Good question. I don't know. Let's have a look. I don't think so, because I've got there's nothing about audio rate. LFOs. No. I'm saying no, but I might be wrong. It's been known. Ropes 1978. Any kind of indicator to see how the presets are set, as in settings? No. Again, there's no illumination, no LEDs around the knobs. The knobs are where you leave them, and then what happens is if you choose a preset and turn the knob, it will, as you turn the knob, it will get to the point where it's set in memory and latch, and then you can carry on moving. But no, there's no indication of where all the settings are within a patch. Again, I suppose building to a price point. We're going to say that probably quite a lot as well. Right, okay. Let's see, what should we look at next? Somebody said, can we have a listen to the... actually, no, I'll tell you what I was going to do. I was going to just check for tuning, just to see, because I think someone, I can't remember who now, it was Jet in the chat said, is there a master tune? I guess there has to be something somewhere. Let's just, my keyboard is right heavy, yeah, so let's bring that, yeah. Let's do a Command F on that. Okay, right. Tuning. The fundamental okay, nothing there. MIDI tuning. Messenger is an analog instrument and should be allowed 10 to 15 minutes to warm up before use. Okay, well, we've done that. In cases where it's been left in the cover, it may take as long as 25 minutes before oscillator tuning has stabilized. So there's no actual mention of a tuning function, which is interesting. So I guess it self-tunes. It just must be doing something in the background to check the tuning. Yeah, there's no. Let me just double check. We can play with the tune knob to offset its tuning. So that's all to do with the tune control in the oscillator. Tune at noon. Tune at noon is okay. Detuning, tune. Global offset for all oscillators. No tuning function there. Tune request. That's a MIDI. No, so it doesn't look like there is a specific tuning function, as there is in quite a few analog synths. So I'm guessing that there is something in here. There's a little tuning circuit that's checking all the time. And yeah. Excuse me, just taking a sip of water. Of course, what you can do is, if you've got one of these pedals, you can use the tuning function on the pedal. So let's see, what have we got? C. Bang on tune. So this is bang on tune. Yep. So it's in tune. That's one thing that annoys me about. Well, I say annoys me. It's very difficult to be annoyed with that thing right there, which is the big mono synth that I have here, the Matrix Brute. Doesn't matter how warm it is or how cool it is or whatever, you turn it on, you do have to give it a while to warm up, and then you can tune it, and then you're away. So I always I have learnt since owning that to if I think I'm going to use it, I turn it on and just leave it. Woody, welcome, sir. We are honoured with your presence. He's more curious what the device is behind the mini Moog. This, my friend, is an Essence FM Mark II. Let me just turn this on, and you can have a look. Look at the screen. Look. Whoa, look at that. This is the Essence FM Mark II. It is by Kodomo Instruments. It is probably the most powerful FM synthesizer available today, and I say that having been aware of things like FMX on the Montage. This is incredible. 300 voice polyphony, massively multi-timbral. Yeah, it's a beast. But we're not talking about that. But that's what it is. It's touchscreen as well. Look at that. It's brilliant. It's a wonderful FM synth. But there you go. Hope that answers your question, Woody. And it's great to see you here, mate. I wonder if you're interested in this this lovely little thing. So let's just take a pause, just for a moment, and we'll bring that two-shot up. And let me just do this, because I normally do this just to get that light out of shot. There we go. So let's just talk about first impressions, because that's what we're here for. This was an unboxing and a first impressions video. So I don't know what your first impressions are, but with this thing here in front of me, it's not light. So a lot of people are saying, oh, it's cheap plastic rubbish. It is not. Okay, so like I said before, this is glass reinforced ABS chassis with a metal top plate. The buttons are small. They're not big clunky chunky things. However, they feel very solid. So there's a nice click when you press them. The knobs, let's just move that filter knob. They don't feel maybe as buttery smooth as others would say, or the other Moog synths would have been. So it does feel that maybe they're not quite as nice. The keyboard, the key bed, shall we say, is lovely. It's nice and springy, proper synthy sort of action, and it's aftertouch velocity sensitive. Do like aftertouch. But as far as build quality is concerned, I would give this, out of 10, I would give this probably 7.5 to 8 out of 10, because it's well built. My only concern is that the knobs are not as, it's not like these, where like on the that's why I say these, you probably can't see what knobs I'm twiddling here. These are the Arturia ones on the Polybrute 12. There's a bit more smooth, a little bit of extra resistance in there, but not too much. You can imagine, I mean, these are nice and easy to move with just a thumb, and if you're playing and you just want to sort of dabble with it, you're not having to push too hard. They do move with some ease. I think maybe I'm being too harsh, I don't know. But yeah, they're okay. But maybe it's just because of Moog. You expect a little more. I don't know. But other than that, the buttons, they're very shallow. They don't take a lot. They click nicely. So yeah, I'm happy with the interface, with the knobs and the positioning. Everything is nice and clear. Everything is detailed. It has to be. There's no screen. Nothing to give you that kind of feedback. Yeah, so it's a really nice layout. It's of course classic Moog layout, oscillator, mixer, filter, envelopes. It just, you feel instantly at home with it. You know exactly what you've got in front of you, and you, unlike my Synclavier Regen experience, you're able to make sounds and know exactly what's going on. It's an analog synth. I mean, if you don't know how to use an analog synth, it's easy. It is. It really is easy. Right. So, pitch bend and mod wheels. Nice bit of spring tension in the pitch bend. They seem a bit smaller than some, but they're chunky enough and they're solid enough. I've played with some wheels on some synths, and they feel kind of flimsy. These feel solid, so there is a solidity to this, and as I said, it weighs a bit. Now, whether they've done that age-old trick of putting a couple of weights in the bottom, I'm not going to find that out, because this isn't mine, and so I don't want to open it up without permission. But no, there's overall the physicality of it, the weight of it, the size of it is lovely. It's it's a small keyboard that's going to be used for either primarily for bass sounds or lead sounds or arpeggiated sounds. So do you need anything bigger than this? No. If you do, there's the Moog Muse. I would have loved to have seen an effects section built in. I think it just would have made it, even if it was just the same or similar effects section that you found in the Moog. That diffusion delay is actually really, really nice. I was surprised when I first played the Muse. Again, this was at Super Booth 24. We got some time with the Muse at Moog's private little soiree, and that diffusion delay is remarkably capable. So it would have been nice if they'd just taken that and just put a little something, or as Awkward Teeth in the chat says, maybe just a little spring reverb, just to give it that zhuzh. Yeah. But no, I think overall, from a physical perspective, as I said, 7.5 to 8 out of 10 so far, and that might change. It might go up, it might go down. But it's a nice solid thing, and you know what? You're going to see a lot of these on stage. This is... So, we all know Moog was in trouble. Otherwise, In Music wouldn't have gone in and bought them out. Now, InMusic went in and bought them out with one purpose, and Jack O'Donnell said this himself. We are looking to continue and improve the Moog brand. However, they produced the Muse. That was the last of the old Moog music designs. This is the first of the new Moog music designs. Now, the old Moog music was in a bad way, and there's probably lots of reasons that we won't go into here as to why that was. But if you're in the business of making products that you sell to customers, which most businesses are, you've got to make something that people are going to buy lots of and that you're going to make a profit on. And that's because if they're not making a profit, what's the point? So the Messenger is exactly that. It's a synthesizer that has that Moog feel, that Moog sound. Yes, it has compromised in certain areas that are not that important to keep the price at a good point where everybody can have one. One of the first things I said to Eric Norlander when I spoke to him at Super Booth was, I said, this is a Moog for the masses, isn't it? And he's just big nods of the head. This is a Moog for everyone. I've never owned a Moog synthesizer. Ever. Never owned one. This is the first time I've had a Moog synthesizer in a studio that I own. It's the first time I've had to sit in front of one without crowds of people trying to get in as well and have a go. This is lovely to actually have one. And I do feel like I've got a Moog synthesizer. I've got a Moog synthesizer. It's not an imitation Moog. It's not a cheap Moog. Take your this is just Chinese rubbish and cast it aside. Let's be honest, so much is made in the Far East, whether it's Taiwan, whether it's China, whether it's Malaysia, doesn't matter. You can have things made in the UK or America and they'll be good. You can also have things made in the UK and America and they're awful. The same applies to Far East manufacturers. You can have things made in the Far East that are really cheap and rubbish, just as you can have things made in the Far East that are really chuffing good. And this is one of them. I have to say, it really is. So the designs are all done apparently in the US, and it's just built and assembled elsewhere. And it doesn't feel any worse for it. Now, of course, long term, we will find out. Am I being too positive too early on? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the return rates are. We'll see whether people are, saying, "Oh, my knobs have snapped off, or my buttons have stopped working, or there's a crack here, or faulty boards, or whatever." As of this present time, and this synth has been out, maybe a month or so. As of this time, everyone seems to be really happy with it. And as I said, out of the box, I'm very happy with this too. And I'm really looking forward to playing around with it and making some stuff. We're going to do a patch in a minute. So yeah, I'm very happy with this as a Moog synthesizer, as a not just as an instrument in its own right and an additional tool to the tools I have here. I'm kind of reluctant to say this because I wouldn't ever want to assume what the great Dr. Bob Moog would think, but I have a feeling Bob would like this because it's an instrument, it's straightforward, it does its job well. I personally think he would like this. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Funny question from Paul Artola in the chat. Can you keytar it? I guess you can, in the same way that Howard Jones would keytar his prodigies, his Moog prodigies. So yeah, but no, look, listen. This is a lovely thing. let's just put that shimmer reverb on this. Ready? Here we go. Oh, sir. That's nice. On its own, it's really nice, but you throw some effects on it and it just becomes a complete other synth. I'm very impressed. Right, should we make a patch? Let's do this. So I'm just going to take a sip of my drink because I've a nasty little tickle. By the way, everyone, available in the ProSynth Network merchandise store, the 32-ounce insulated, and I'm still going to sample this, insulated drinks bottle. This one's a very special one. There's only 3 of these in the world. This is one that I had made up for our trip to Superbooth in Berlin, and I bought one, and my colleague Peter, who joined me on that trip, bought one as well. And on the first day of Superbooth, my true love said to me, "Why don't you leave your water bottle on the S-Bahn on the first day?" This is exactly what I did. And so someone somewhere, whether it's an S-Bahn employee or a fellow S-Bahn traveller, has probably picked up the 3rd ProSynth Network Superbooth water canister. So anyway, but you can buy regular ones with just ProSynth Network on. You can buy those in the store. They're about $24.99. They're really good. I really do recommend them. Anyway, yeah. Okay, let's do a patch from scratch. Let's see what we can make. So we're going to do this. We're going to hold the hold to init button. Did Rob play the resonance on its own? I did. Do you want to hear it, Kent? What do you want, Kent? Do you want to just hear the filter? Just say yes. Yes, I want to hear the filter, or no, you don't understand what I'm saying, you feckless idiot. I'll wait for you to respond because obviously there's a delay. But if you just want to hear the filter, just say so. And so there we go. It's an init patch. We're just waiting for Kent to respond. If you just want to hit, let's just do this, okay? Because this is the filter on its own. Okay, so there's nothing there, and we're going to whack the resonance right up on the 4-pole low pass. Can you hear that? It's already. Ooh, gets a bit crazy over there. Do the 2-pole because that'll be a bit. There you go. Put the resonance bass switch on. Asio wants to hear that bass. Okay, so here's that patch 1 bass. Good. It's meaty. Yes, there is keyboard tracking right there. James Dyson, just see there. It says KB tracking. Oh, sir, that's nice. Right, so we're going to in it patch again. In it. Right, so mixer, everything's down on the mixer. I'm just going to take the resonance off there. So let me just do that to make sure we've got. So this is just oscillator 1. So let's just make sure. I'm pretty sure it is in tune. Absolutely spot on. So we don't need to worry about the tuning. So kind of like that. That's fine. Let's bring in oscillator 2. Oh, that's some interesting filter modulation from oscillator 1 to oscillator 2. I believe, is that through 0? Just slightly detune those. Right, okay, let's bring some sub oscillator in. In fact, I'm gonna. Okay. I'm kind of liking that. So let's bring some LFO into. Well, let's just mess around with the filter a little bit here. That's nice. Oh, that button gets me every time. That's nice. That's nicer. Yeah, I like that. Whoa. Oh, I'm really liking that. Oh, we can get some wob-wobs. Okay, yeah, liking that. Right, let's mess around with the filter envelope here just a little bit. Keyboard track. oscillator sync. You tell me if that was too loud. I like it. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm just dicking around. I'm not really being any way scientific about this. Am I using the loop envelopes? No, I'm not. But let me just put that on the. So anyway, there was a little patch from scratch that's still going. Maybe that's given you an idea of what you can do with this. It's an analog synthesizer, you know, the world's your oyster. You can do I've literally just scratched the surface, and we're, what are we, almost 90 minutes in. I said we probably wouldn't go over that. It's nice to see a lot of people like Bicky in the chat saying I really should not be watching this, because I'm assuming that means that you're getting quite excited for it. It would be interesting, wouldn't it, to see how many of you have either changed your mind or whether this has reinforced your view. But as I said before, if you've just joined, I think this is straight out of the box. It's a lot of fun. It's a really, really nice instrument. And it is exactly that. It's an instrument. Don't get hung up on the whole, oh, it's, you know, it's the new Moog. It's not going to be as good as the old Moog. Based on this, I think Moog is in very safe hands, he says. That's probably the kiss of death now, isn't it? I think Moog are in very, very good hands. If this is, you know, what they're coming out with, it'd be interesting to see what's next on the production line. I have no idea, but this is a really good start, and it is a really well priced, you know, Moog synth, and it's not cheap because it's built cheap. It's been made affordable. That's what it is. It's not cheap. It's affordable. And I think if you've always wanted a Moog mono synth in your life, there's no better time. Is this as good as classic old Moog monos? Probably not. But most of us can't afford a Model D, either new or old. So this is the next best thing. This is the best thing. They've discontinued. Is it the sub 37? The Model D is $5,000. Are they still doing? I don't know if they're still doing the other things, but there's going to come a time when this, I think, is going to be. I know this. It's a mono synth, so it's not probably going to have the same appeal. But you remember when, like, 20 years ago, wherever you looked on stage, people had microcorgs. Remember that? The microcorg was this wonderful little, quite powerful, very easy to use synthesizer, and the world and their partners were going out there and snapping these things up. The microcorg became incredibly popular. I have a feeling that this will do something similar. We're going to see a lot of Moog messengers on stage because it's small, it's powerful, it gives you that Moog sound, and best of all, he says on the back, it says that. And in a world where we really shouldn't be paying attention to labels and brands, having that on the back of a synthesizer is quite a cool thing. So yeah, I think Moog are onto a winner here, for sure, absolutely for sure. Its connectivity is no more than it needs to be. In fact, I didn't expect it to have a sustain and expression pedal on here. It seems odd to have a mono synth with the sustain and expression. It's not really, I imagine that's a more grander polyphonic keyboard type thing, but no, it's got external in. We've not even touched that, so we will look at that as well. The external in through the filter, which is going to be nice. Haven't really looked at the sequencer, which is, by the way, 64 steps. Same with the arpeggiator, I believe. So yeah, there's a lot going on here for not a lot of money, and I really do think that this is the right synthesizer for Moog to be producing right now. They're going to sell bucket loads of these. That's going to get some money in the bank. They're going to carry on, and hopefully, Muse is getting updates and becoming more and more a really great. What I would, and I don't mean this disparagingly. The Muse is a real meat and potatoes analog polysynth. It's for whatever you want to use it for. It's really, really good. I think this is better, the Polybrute 12, but the Muse is right up there. It's a really good synthesizer, and again, for what it is, it's a really good price as well. So yeah, I think they're on the right track, and I think this is another good little step, and I think maybe it's the start of things to come. And I'm sure that Moog will produce bigger, more elaborate, maybe more upmarket synthesizers, but right now they need to be selling lots of product, and this is that thing. If you've been thinking about buying one and you've been waiting for somebody you know and trust to make a recommendation, on my first 90 minutes it's 90 minutes with this thing, if a salesman approached me now and said, what do you think, I'd be giving him my card and saying, charge it, stick it in a box, I'm going home. Absolutely, because I do love a good analog mono, and I've got one of the finest analog monos right there. This is a different beast, though. This is a really different beast. That's so deep and so complex. I haven't even scratched the surface of that, and I've had it, I don't know how long I've had that now. But this is a different beast. This is different. This is more immediate, more instant, more instantly satisfying. So, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. So I'm gonna knock it on the head there because I need to have a drink, need to cool off a bit, need to pack this thing away because I don't want it to get damaged. But I will be getting it out again very, very soon. And yeah, who knows? I've got this for a little while. I'm going to try and make the most of it. And fingers crossed, we'll do some presets. We'll also maybe do some samples and put those into a decent sampler instrument that we can give away on our Patreon and YouTube members. Give them something there. And hopefully we'll do some more videos. We'll probably talk about this tomorrow on the show again. Don't forget, if all the regulars in the chat will know that we do a live stream every Friday at 7 p.m. UK time, which is of course 2 p.m. On the east coast of America, 11 a.m. on the west coast. It's 8 p.m. in Europe. So wherever you might be, tune in. But of course, if you can't make it live, don't worry, you can watch on catch up. But we'll be talking about that. We don't think we've got any guests on tomorrow because we had Cherry Audio last week. So what little news there is, myself, Andy and Kent will be talking about that live tomorrow. So do join us from 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow. We'll probably talk about this. I'm not sure I'll have it all set up over here because I have my show stuff that I need to have to hand. But maybe I'll find a little stand and we'll put it somewhere and we can have a play around with it. If you've got any questions, please do ask them. If you want to send them into the Facebook group, if you haven't joined us over there, you can do that. But yeah, there you go. The Moog Messenger, a winner, I think. Instantly satisfying, and yeah, there we go. Yeah, and go out. Yeah, that's it, Cressy. We'll cover. No, not that one. Roland Mood Pan. That's an interesting choice, isn't it? But yeah, that's out there and available. So anyway, there you go. That is everything. Let me just put that shimmer reverb on this sound again. It's nice, isn't it? Favourite patch so far, I have to say, we go to bank 1. And I think it was this one, wasn't it? No, this one. See, that could do with some shimmer. That's where it's at. See, that's where it should be. Anyway, yeah, 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow, live stream, myself, Andrew and Kent discussing the week's news and generally chit-chatting about all things synthesizer related. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this. And yeah, come join us over at the Facebook group if you haven't already. Go check out all the other streams that are out there. There's loads of really good ones. You've got Geosynths on a Sunday. You've got Ranzi on a Saturday. I believe Henrik has got 1 or 2 live streams coming up here and there. So go and check those out. And of course, the wonderful Jason Jervis, aka Get Jervis. He was on last night. I think he's again on Sunday. Go check out James Dyson. He does loads of kind of impromptu live demos. Well worth going and checking his thing. Yes, Manny, we will be talking about the wonderful GeForce Halogen FM, which thankfully we can talk about now. And Manny and I, amongst others, did a whole bunch of presets for that wonderful synth. If you want to get into FM really easy, GeForce's Halogen FM, we'll be talking about that for sure tomorrow. And I think there was a couple of other. Oh, thank you, Viral. If you want to get some viral beat sounds, viral beats, if you're a channel member or a Patreon, there is a voucher code lurking in the stream of your channels for a free 140 preset mini freak bank from our friend Viral Beats. Thank you, sir. So there you go. I'm going to say goodbye now. I always do this. I witter on and then say goodbye and then never actually go. So I'm definitely going now. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you same time, same place. Well, actually, no, we'll see you. I say that every Friday. We'll see you tomorrow. And then we'll see you same time, same place every Friday. But thanks for watching. Hope you've found some benefit in this. And watch out for more Moog Messenger content on the channel. And if it's impromptu, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. And we'll see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.